This video demonstrates new cybersecurity enhancements added to SCADAPack controllers and Telepace Studio software. If you're watching this video, it is perhaps because you have read the label notification on your new SCADAPack, or you have attempted to connect to a new SCADAPack controller with Telepace Studio 5.3.1 or older and have received this message saying the controller is locked. And if you tried to override the controller lock using the existing locking commands in Telepace Studio, you would be blocked as well and presented with this message. This video will demonstrate how to resolve this issue and, more importantly, how to manage security locking on your new SCADAPack controller. But first, let me explain what this message means and the purpose of the new package label. Schneider Electric believes cybersecurity is critical in today's connected world. As such, we have added new mechanisms to our products to improve their cybersecurity capabilities. This includes SCADAPack because cybersecurity is relevant to all IP-based or IP-routable devices. As of January 1st, 2020, SCADAPack controllers now ship with a cybersecurity feature that requires initial configuration before the hardware can be used. As a result of the addition of the cybersecurity feature, customers receiving new SCADAPack controllers will also need to obtain updated tools in order to apply controller configuration. A label highlighting this requirement has been attached to the SCADAPack packaging. Included on the label is the following list of software tools that have been updated to support the cybersecurity enhancements, which includes Telepace Studio. To unlock your SCADAPack and resolve this issue, you will need to update your Telepace Studio version to 5.4.1 or newer. As you may have discovered, older versions of Telepace Studio will not be able to configure new SCADAPacks equipped with a cybersecurity feature. Contact your local support team or this email to obtain the Telepace Studio update. Once updated to Telepace Studio 5.4.1 or newer, you will have three choices for managing the secure lock on your new SCADAPack. Option 1, disable the security lock feature. And if the secure lock is desired in the future, a cold boot or service boot will re-enable it. Or apply the security lock with a password of your choice. Or downgrade the controller's firmware and remove security locking altogether. Typically, you may want to begin with option 1 to disable the security lock because you will need to have the controller unlocked in order to edit and write configuration changes to it. You may choose option 2 to apply the security lock later after this configuration is completed and the device is placed in the field. The security lock blocks all configuration commands, but protocol access is not blocked for communications with other devices or with the SCADA host. We will discuss option 3 later. Option 1, how to disable the security lock. Note that the device must be unlocked or the feature disabled in order to edit and write configuration changes to it. This option will disable the requirement for a security lock password. Cold boot or service boot is needed to re-enable the security locking. And if you have other SCADAPacks on your network that use firmware without the cybersecurity feature, this option will set the new SCADAPack to operate like your existing SCADAPacks. I'll demonstrate from Telepace Studio. I'm using the updated Telepace Studio 5.4.1, and I'm connected over USB to a new SCADAPack 334. So if I had selected any command at this point, the controller is locked, as we've seen this message before. So you still get this message with the new updated software. You select Controller Security on the left. If the resulting dialog does not look like the one shown, a cold boot of the controller will reinitialize Controller Security, and you'll see this dialog. You want to select Device does not require a password and apply. The information message displayed here confirms the desired result It also states the requirement for a cold boot or a service boot to reinitialize security locking if needed in the future. Now, with locking disabled, here are a few items to consider when working with a device with locking disabled. In the future, if you need to cold boot your controller, note that the security lock will be reactivated, and you will need to disable locking again, as just shown. If you have users in your organization that intend to remain using Telepace Studio 5.31 or older, then disabling the security lock allows these users to configure the RTU without issue. However, if one of these users needs to cold boot the controller, the security lock will be reactivated, and only Telepace Studio 5.4.1 or newer can disable locking at this point. All the more reason to have all users update their PCs with the latest version of Telepace Studio. So how would I re-enable security lock in the future? If I select the security lock command in Telepace Studio, I'm reminded that the device has been configured to not require a password. Well, we've mentioned already that a cold boot or a service boot will reinitialize security locking. So I can cold boot the controller, and security lock is reactivated automatically. This is what I would receive selecting the security lock dialog after the cold boot. This is similar to what we saw before, so instead of selecting the device does not require a password, we can select the other option. But the cold boot erases the controller data, so that's pretty severe just to re-enable security lock. So that's why we offer the service boot as well. So once again, if we selected the security lock dialog and then do a service boot, this dialog changes to this one. Notice the bullet option at the bottom now. So we have an option. We can continue by canceling this dialog and not require a password, or proceed ahead and apply initialize device lock. This reactivates the locking feature, and now the dialog will change to this one. Once again, just like the cold boot. The advantage here is that the controller's data has been retained. Now, as a service boot, do remember to finish by power cycling the controller to execute the run boot so that the Telepace logic runs again. Looking at option 2 now to apply the security lock. Let's go to Telepace Studio to demonstrate that. So again, I'm connected to a new SCADAPack over USB, and it has arrived locked. So if we select any command, we get these messages. If you select the security controller security dialog, here's the options we've seen before. So instead of selecting does not require a password, this time we enter a password. It has to be 8 characters long, at least. So it's now been successfully locked and assigned to that password. So if I select other commands, I still get the locked message, but the difference this time is I know the password. So I go to the controller security dialog and enter the password to unlock the device. So that's the password I just entered. So it's been unlocked, and it's recommending that I should relock it when changes are applied. So now I'm free to access the controller. I can write this program. I could go online, and then when I'm finished, I would relock it. So I would go, I might be at another dialog, I would go to the controller security and then relock the device with the same password that's been assigned to it. There we are. So now any configuration commands at this point are locked out, just as if it was received out of the box. Let's summarize again how you would work with a password-locked SCADAPack. So whenever using Telepace Studio to communicate with a locked controller, you have to unlock the controller first by entering the password on that controller security dialog. Then you're free to execute any Telepace commands that communicate with the controller, whether that's to edit logic or read or write the file or to monitor online. Then when you're finished, you relock the controller using the controller security dialog to secure it. Note that locking blocks all configuration commands, but not protocol access to SCADA host or peer devices. Let's look at option 3 now. To remove the cybersecurity feature from being enabled on the SCADAPack in the future, replace the controller firmware with the last version before security locking was introduced for your controller type. This may be helpful in the short term, but do note that downgrading firmware means you are choosing to not take advantage of any improvements, fixes, or new features associated with maintaining up-to-date firmware.